Good. That's a funny thing that happened. All this week I've been thinking about being, and less doing, and made a lot of efforts, especially this morning, to just be. And in all of my being, I forgot the very important doing of turning the microphone that attaches to the phone on. So it's a balance, right? We're going to focus on the being today because I think in our everyday lives we're so focused on the doing. But the goal is not to just always be. It's to walk the through line, just like all things, right? Between light and dark, positive and negative, masculine and feminine, up and down, expansion, contraction. We need both because the being informs the doing and the doing informs the being. And thanks to the doing of turning my microphone on, now we can all come together and talk about being. So welcome. I hope you all had a wonderful week. Mine was very busy. If you had a very busy week, give me a hands up in the chat. It feels like everything that I do is requiring more and more layers of doing to get it done. And that's okay. But it's easy to have all of the doing crowd out the being, right? It makes us feel like we don't have time for the being. And yet I think we've all had this experience of the more we do, the more there is to do. My work can expand to fill up every single moment of my life if I let it, right? Or if I give it a discrete time, I find that I can usually get it all done in that time if I'm really focused. So why are we so addicted to the doing? What are some of the reasons? I hear all the time from my patients, I just can't sit still. I can't sit still. I got to be doing something, right? That's why they think that they can't meditate, because they always feel like they need to be doing something. I think a lot of it is cultural. I think that we have been trained and conditioned growing up in this society to attach a lot of our value and our self-worth to what we can accomplish, right? What do you want to do with your life? What do you want to accomplish with your life, right? How much can you get done in a day? Did you do what you needed to do for all the people that needed you? And we attend to this a lot. We don't always attend to what we need to do for ourselves. And so I know so many people that will feel guilty if they just relax for a day. I am guilty of that as well. I'll be sitting there trying to relax and I just won't be able to stop thinking about all of the things I'm supposed to be doing. So that's one thing. I think culture plays a big role. What about FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. I think that gets a lot of us these days, especially with things like social media and email, right? If I'm not constantly checking, I'm going to miss something, right? That's going to be terrible. And yet we find that if we just turn off the social media for a day, nothing really changes. Maybe we feel more calm. Maybe we have more space. The world doesn't end. Our friends don't all abandon us. We don't miss out on the great biggest thing that was going to change our lives. So I think especially with the advent of social media, that fear of missing out has really become heightened for a lot of us. I think for some of us, it's uncomfortable to sit with ourselves in stillness because of the way the brain works. Always thinking, always producing hypothetical situations, because that's how we actually evolved and survived through a lot of human history, right? By taking in the things that happen to us and replaying variations of them over and over again in hypothetical situations so that the next time we encountered a similar situation, we would have a better idea of what to do. But the thing with that is that from an evolutionary standpoint, from a survival standpoint, the people that benefited the most, that survived to pass on their genes to future generations, were people that did that with the scary, negative things that happened to them, right? I went over there and a tiger jumped out and started chasing me. Okay, I need to figure out how to not encounter that tiger or to be ready to fight the tiger when I encounter it. Okay, so our brains run these autopilot hypothetical situations all the time, and just because of the way they evolved to work, they're constantly focusing on these negative situations that inspire fear and stress and angst and just discomfort. And so that's what comes up for a lot of us when we try to sit with ourselves in stillness, particularly those of us that have experienced trauma in the past, overt trauma. Even for those of us that don't, the brain focuses on the negative, right? And so there is an art to being able to step back from that constant wheel of negative thought and not let it affect you. But that takes a little bit of guidance and a little bit of practice. And so I think that that's why so many people just really don't feel safe just being, right? Because the doing drowns out a lot of that thought process. And so I had intended to start this practice by just standing in silence and stillness, which is hard, especially when people are watching you, when people that you can't see watching you back are watching you. And that was going to be an example. But the universe had something else planned, which was that I think we're supposed to focus on the balance today between the doing and the being. And that's why I started without the microphone on. So let's talk about that balance. Balance is not a static line, right? We don't achieve balance and then just stay rigid in that fixed position, right? Those of us, I think all of us have had the experience of, we come to a good place. We really feel like we have achieved the balance. And then before we know it, boom, life throws us something that knocks us off. And so we like work, and we come back to the balance. We're like, oh, okay, good, I'm here again. And then boom, life throws us something that knocks us off, because balance isn't static, right? Even physical balance. If I'm going to balance on one foot successfully, my body is not still. My foot is not still. My ankle is not still. I am constantly making 1,000 minute adjustments to be able to maintain this position, right? And the same is true in life. That's why the line through the yin-yang sign is not a straight line across the circle, right? It's a wave. This is the path of balance through life. I think what a lot of us experience that haven't worked on this is this, right? Our path takes more extreme twists and turns. And the goal of all of this work, all of this growth that we try to accomplish is to come to this point where we can navigate like this. So the doing informs the being, and the being informs the doing. We're called by our society these days to do a lot in order to successfully live our lives the way we become accustomed to. It doesn't take, I don't think, an equal amount of time practicing the being to find that balance, but it takes consistency. And you guys have heard me say this over and over and over again. I would rather have you practice a self-care exercise for 5 minutes every day than for an hour once or twice a week, because it's the consistency and the repetition that really conditions our body-mind to incorporate what we learn in those experiences into our neural pathways, into our DNA, into our neurochemical balance, right? We're talking about real biophysiologic change that occurs when we practice things consistently. And so then let's talk about meditation, because that's really what I usually mean when I say being, and I think that's what most people mean when they say being. It's this state that we come to where we let go of the thinking, we let go of the doing, and we just allow ourselves to exist. Now, the goal that a lot of Zen masters or Buddhist masters will tell you is to achieve a permanent state where you are just existing, just experiencing, right? You live in that awakened moment. But that takes practice, and the practice is the meditation. And so there's a lot of myths about what meditation is and what it isn't. At very first, when you start, meditation is not turning off your mind. It is not going into that black void where no thoughts exist, right? That is impossible to jump straight to, in my opinion, when you've been living the way we've been living for all these years. The first goal of meditation is to train your body-mind to be able to focus on one thing to the exclusion of all other things, okay? One way to do this is by noticing, and we're going to practice a little bit of noticing today, to where you're not thinking, doing. You're just observing. And you can observe the external world. You can observe the internal world. You can observe your thoughts. There's a lot of things that you can focus your awareness on. Once you have done that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, not only will you experience the deep rest that comes with shutting out all of the noise and focusing on the one thing, not only will you experience the increased clarity and focus that you develop by training your mind, but then I believe you do get to a state where you can enter into that void, right? Where the thoughts disappear and you're just in a state of being, constant being in the present moment. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know if I have really experienced that yet. I am not what I would consider to be a natural born meditator. I'm a doer. I really am. I like the doing. It makes me feel accomplished, right? It makes me feel comfortable. I like to move my body. It feels better when I do it. But I don't do the doing as well if I don't practice the being. Okay? So we're going to do some meditating today. But I think one thing that's super important if you're going to have a successful meditation practice, and for those of you that have been with me every week, you've heard me say this before, you want to relax and calm the body before you sit and try to quiet the mind. And so to start by doing some kind of movement, some kind of physical activity before you sit down to meditate is a game changer. That is my number one top tip, secret hack for having a successful meditation practice. So if you're somebody that likes to exercise, that likes to do really vigorous physical exercise, do your exercise first and then slip into a meditation, right? And for those of you that don't like to do really vigorous physical exercise, you can do some of the techniques we've learned over the weeks, right? The tapping, the bouncing, the tense and release, the qigong. We're about to do that now, and then we're going to come into meditation together, okay? So if you are sitting, I invite you to stand. We're going to start, as we usually do, by doing some total body tapping. So with the palm of one hand, we're going to go down the inside of the other arm, and up the outside, down the inside and up the outside a few times, and then get the shoulder, get the chest. Try not to hit my microphone. Do the other side. Shoulder, chest. Let's go down the side waist. And the other. And the belly. Good. Let's go to the back to the kidneys. And right here, okay? And then with the back of the fists, we're going to rub over the spine, the point in between those two kidney points. And then we're going to come down the back to the butt and around the sides to the front. Just getting the hips all across the hip bones and up to the lower belly. Good. Good. Okay. So now we're going to do the legs. I have conveniently forgotten my chair outside, so I'm going to balance for you guys. You can rest on the leg that's lifted up on a chair, or you can bend forward to do this. As always, I'm going to tap down the front of my leg, up the back of my leg, down the sides of my leg, and then up the front, down the back, up the sides, okay? So for those of you that want to try it balancing with me, choose which leg you're going to start with. I'm going to balance on this one, okay? Shift your weight into that leg. I would recommend a gentle bend in the knee and balance before you balance, right? So make sure that you're centered and then lift the other leg. And then we're going to go down the front, get the ankles, up the back, down the sides, up the front, down the back, up the sides. All right. Okay, let's see if we can do the other leg. So again, for those of you that are balancing with me, let's shift the weight over, gentle bend in the knee, find your balance point before you lift the other leg up, lift the leg, and let's tap. Down the front, get the ankles, up the back, down the sides, get the ankles, up the front, down the back, get the ankles, and up the side. Get the butt again. That's just my style. I can get the kidneys again. Nice. Good. You should feel all tingly now. For those of you that don't, it's probably because you haven't been doing this regularly, right? This is such a wonderful practice just for even those moments in the middle of the day when you feel tired, when you feel foggy, like you can't concentrate. Just get up and do some total body tapping. It really circulates the lymphatic fluid, flushing out toxins. It circulates the blood, sending oxygen to the tissues. It circulates the chi and the energy, bringing vitality and vigor and clarity of thought. It's so efficient, and it just takes a couple of minutes. So I love that one. Okay, and so now we're going to do some Qigong. We're going to learn one move today. So I want you to come and stand in Wu Ji, feet together, arms neutral by your side, or palms turned out to face the universe. And in case there are a couple of people that are here for the first time this week, I think maybe I saw someone come in that hasn't been here before. If you have never heard of Qigong, it is an ancient Chinese energy art. You can think of it sort of like Chinese yoga, but it's a technique to increase health and vitality and move energy, life force energy called qi through the body. So qi means energy or life force, and gong means work, but it can also mean dance or play. So I like to think of this as energy play. So we always start in Wu Ji with our feet together and our palms either neutral or turned out to face the universe. And then you're going to shift all your weight into one leg. I'm going to use this leg, and you're going to step out about shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. Now, for this exercise, we're not going to be sinking and rising. We're going to be twisting. And so to protect your knees, instead of having your feet turned slightly out and your knees bent slightly out over your feet, you're going to turn your feet slightly in. You're going to pigeon toe them, okay? And so the knees will be slightly pigeon toed. Hang on, I'm going to point the camera down. Can you see? Okay, good. So pigeon toeing the feet, okay? And the knees slightly bent in. And that way, as we turn from side to side, we don't put a strain on our knees. Now, if your knees hurt when you do this, you may be standing with your feet too wide apart, or you may be having your feet turned in too far or not symmetrically, or maybe not far enough. So you play with this a little bit and make minute adjustments. You'll see me, I'm usually constantly adjusting my feet as I do Qigong, as I find the new balance point and what feels right, okay? And for this move, we are going to twist from side to side. Now, the balance line, and I promise I'm going to show you my face again in a second, but the center point stays the same. So we're not like swaying from side to side like a dance move. We are turning around a central axis, right? So the through line stays the same, and we just turn from side to side. Do you see the difference? So turning around the central point versus side to side, okay? This is what we want. Good. I'm going to raise the camera back up. There we go. Okay. Okay. So for sorry, hang on. Okay, maybe that's a little better. All right. Anyway, we're not going to let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So you're going to have your feet in that position. And then this move is called leaf blowing in the breeze. It's from a routine called the Flow Form by Satori Method Academy, courtesy of Sensei Tristan Trescott. And I love this move because it's very flowy. I think it really allows you to like catch the wave of chi and let the chi move the body, but it also helps to integrate all three energy centers. And for those of you that are here for the first time, in Chinese medicine, we have three main energy centers in our body called dantians: the lower, the middle, and the upper. And these correspond to the 7 chakras of Ayurvedic medicine, okay? So we start with our hands in Wu Ji, and then you're gonna pick a side. I'm gonna start with this side, and we're gonna inhale as we turn to the side and let our arm float up with the wrist relaxed. And so I'm going to bend down so you can see it. So the arm comes all the way up over the body like that. Oh, and then the hand flips and you turn it over and you come across. Okay. And then we exhale as we turn the palm out and we twist the body to the other side. So I'm not moving my arm, I'm twisting the body. We continue to exhale as the arm comes down, and we turn again to bring it across. And then inhale, let the arm float up to the center line, twist with the palm facing the body, and then we inhale back up again. So it's like a big figure 8, right? So I'm going up, swiping across, coming down through the middle, down through the bottom, up through the middle, and back up to the top. And every time I'm moving from one side to the other, I'm moving from my legs, right? I'm twisting the hip and the knee, okay? So let's try that together. We're gonna go to this side again. Inhale up. Exhale, come across and down, through the middle, down, through the middle. Inhale, up, through the middle with the palm facing you, all the way up, turn the palm out and start your exhale as you come down. Turn through the middle with your palm facing out. Come down the bottom. Start your inhale coming up, turning through the middle with the palm facing you, all the way up. Swipe across and start your exhale. So we're inhaling as we're moving up. We're exhaling as we're moving down. The turn is always coming from the legs, not the arm, not the shoulders, not the waist. And your palm is always facing out away from you, except for when you come back up through your heart center, and then it's facing you, okay? So always out, except for when you're coming back up through your heart. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale and exhale. And for those of you that can't do that all in one breath, make a smaller figure 8, right? So if you need to go like this in order to be able to be breathing in all the way up and out all the way down, that's fine. You just modify it for you, okay? Inhale. Exhale. Okay, and this time as the arm comes down, we're going to let it rest in front of the lower dantian as we bring the other arm up on the inhale. And exhale, swipe across, back through the middle, down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Palm turned out. Inhale up. Palm turns in. Exhale down. Palm turns out. Inhale. And the goal, exhale, as you come through heart center, is to really be in front of your heart, not in front of your face or in front of your neck, okay? Let's do a couple more times. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And let your hand come to rest in front of the lower dantian. And take a moment. You can turn your feet slightly out if you like. Allow yourself to feel any sensation in the palms of your hands or in your lower belly. Take a nice deep breath and allow yourself to notice how your body feels. And just notice open-mindedly and without judgment if there's any difference between the way you feel now and the way you felt before we started. There are no wrong experiences and there are no non-productive experiences. There's always learning to be had. So just allow yourself to notice. Good. When you're ready, you're going to shift all your weight over into one leg. I'm going to shift into this leg. And you're going to inhale as you bring your feet together and hands come up over your head. You're going to exhale, bringing your hands down the center line. At the level of the lower ribs, let them float apart and back down. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhaling. This is how you close out a Qigong practice. And we do this coming to center 3 times, once for each Dantian or energy center. 1 more time. And out. Good. Awesome. I don't know about you, but I feel a lot more still on the inside than I did before we started. If you don't, that's okay. We're going to move into the meditation now. So I know usually I have done a standing meditation. Today, because we're focused so much on being, I'm going to do a sitting meditation. So guys, take a minute to create a comfortable space for yourself. Have a cushion on the ground. You can sit in a chair if that's more comfortable for you. I'm going to adjust the light down and get my cushion out, and then we'll get started, okay? Awesome. Good deal. All right. I highly recommend meditating on a cushion if you're going to do it sitting. Don't try to just meditate on flat ground. It makes it way more uncomfortable. This is just a cushion from the back of my couch. It's nothing special. The Dalai Lama, in a documentary that I recently watched, says ideally the back of the cushion should be elevated to 4 inches above the front of the cushion for a more comfortable experience. So if you can find a pillow like that, awesome. And then you're gonna sit, you can sit cross-legged, you can sit in lotus. I just sit cross-legged. And then you can have your hands on your knees. You can make the ring connection with your middle finger and your thumb, or you can lay one palm in the other with your thumbs touching and rest it in front of your lower dantian like this. Awesome. I want to invite everyone to take a deep breath in through their nose and out through your mouth. Again, in through your nose, out through your mouth. As you continue taking deep cleansing breaths, allow your eyes to drift closed and turn your attention inward. And I invite you to visualize any thoughts, any blockages, any tension, any frenetic energy inside of you, to visualize this all as one big cloud of smoke. And keeping your attention on the smoke and the breath, allow with each breath in, crystal clean, clear air to enter your body. And with each exhalation, allow some of the cloud of smoke to exit. Clean air in on the inhalation, smoke out on the exhalation. Breathing in, smoke exits out. And as you continue to breathe in and out, notice that the line of smoke, the line of fog inside your body is going lower and lower as more of you is filled with the clean, clear air that you're breathing in. And continue to breathe in and out until the line of smoke goes all the way to the bottom and you breathe out the last little bit. Take your time. You have all the time you need. Focusing on the level of the smoke as it goes down with every breath. Or focusing on the volume of clear space filling up, pushing that line of smoke down. More and more with each breath, we release the smoke out of our bodies as we fill with the clean, clear, fresh air. Once you've released all of the smoke from inside your body, take a moment to notice the feeling of clear stillness that remains. Your internal world is completely clear, completely open, ready to receive that which you choose to put into this space. But notice how peaceful it feels to have completely emptied out that which was filling you before. How nice the stillness is. And from this place of inner stillness, I invite you to notice any thoughts, any feelings, any physical sensations that are trying to enter back into this space. I invite you to notice them without attachment, non-judgmentally, with a gentle curiosity. Oh, that's trying to come in. That's interesting. In this state of non-attachment, I invite you to notice and see if you can just let it go. Oh, that's coming in. I'll just breathe it right out. That's hovering around. Let me allow my breath to just float it away. If you notice many trying to enter all at once, I invite you to visualize your breath as a force that gathers in the center of your belly as you breathe in and expands out with power in all directions as you breathe out, filling up your inner world from the center and pushing out any and all thoughts, feelings, sensations that are trying to enter. And from this state of inner stillness, I invite you to turn your attention from your inner world to your outer world. You can keep your eyes closed at first if you prefer. Focus your attention on your ears. What do you hear? With an open-minded, non-judgmental curiosity. There are no good sounds. There are no bad sounds. There are just sounds. And what sounds occupy your external environment right now? When you feel ready, focus your awareness on your nose. As you breathe in deeply through your nose, what scents occupy your environment right now? And there are no good scents, and there are no bad scents. There are just scents. Which ones do you notice? And as you feel ready, I invite you to focus your awareness on your body as it interfaces with your external environment. What do you feel? How does the surface that you are resting on feel? How does the air that's contacting your skin feel? How do your clothes feel against your skin? How does your hair feel where it touches your neck or shoulders or the sides of your face? And as you feel ready, I invite you to open your eyes. And without moving your body, allow your eyes to just drift back and forth, and up and down, across the landscape in front of you. Again, just noticing, what do you see? What are the light patterns? Where are the shadows? What are the colors of the objects in front of you? What are the details on the parts of the things that are in front of you? Not forcing yourself to try to see anything in particular. Just allowing yourself to notice as your eyes continue to move without attachment, back and forth, or up and down, across the things that are in front of you. And there are no good sights, and there are no bad sights. There are just sights. And isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting to notice things you may never have noticed about the things that occupy your environment? And when you're ready, you can bring your eyes to focus on one thing, anything you want. Take a few more deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you do, you can start to bring movement back into your body, into your head and neck, into your shoulders and chest, your arms, elbows, forearms, wrists and hands, down into your waist, your lower back and your buttocks, your hips, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet and toes. Another deep breath in. And let's close out our meditation. And it can be just that fast. It can be faster if you want. Anything is better than nothing. What did you notice during your meditation? What came up for you that was surprising or that you expected? I had an interesting experience when we were focusing on the sounds that we heard in our external environment. Because out of one ear, I could hear the birds chirping in the trees outside. And in my other ear, I could hear my children banging on the keys of the piano in the other room. What a perfect example of contrast, of balance. And the temptation was to like the birds and to be bothered by the banging of the piano. But the practice is to let it go. Let go of your attachment to your reaction, right? Allow these things to just be as you are attempting to just be. Allow all of it into your environment and notice the ease that comes with that, the letting go of tension that you didn't know you were holding. I used to get so annoyed when I would try to meditate at the beginning and sounds that I didn't think were conducive to meditation would come in, right? Like I would be meditating and an 18-wheeler would drive down the road outside, right? Or I would be meditating and the sound of the air conditioning would come on and it would be really harsh, or people would be talking in another room. And what you realize as you continue to try to practice something like this, a mindful awareness practice, is that those sounds are always there. There is never a moment of complete absence of sound on this earth. And so the skill and the goal is to practice again, allowing all of that to be, and you find the still point anyway. Not despite of it, but anyway, in addition to it, there's still that point of stillness that can be reached. Thank you all so much for joining me for this today. I needed this. I needed this. Full disclosure, I have been trying to practice being, and I have had success with it this week, and I have had moments where it has been challenging. And this morning it was really challenging, and I don't think I was able to achieve it. And now I feel I have. So thank you for being here with me and allowing me the space to practice. I hope, as always, you found at least one thing in this talk that resonated with you, that was helpful with you, that you can take out into the world. If you have any questions about meditation, about being, about doing, about balance, feel free to put them into the chat, or you can PM me. I read everything that you guys write in, even if I don't respond live, and I always answer you back. So feel free to enter whatever is ringing true for you. But I think we'll call it a day then for today's practice. Have a wonderful week ahead. I hope you have many frequent moments of being, even if it's only for a moment. And I invite you to tap in and go deep as you can, into those moments of true being. And I invite you to notice how your doing changes when you bring the practice of being into it. Is the doing more fulfilling? Is it more efficient? Do you have more clarity as you approach it? Or maybe not. Maybe things feel a little bit more chaotic or frustrating for a while. That can happen too. And it's not a bad thing. It is all a part of the journey towards stillness. For those of us that have a lot of turmoil or tension or stuck, stagnant energy inside, a lot of that has to come to the surface before it can be let go. And so I think a lot of people experience going a little bit crazy before they really get into it. I'm just reading some comments to see if you have any questions. Okay, just lots of thank yous, and have a wonderful weekend. So, okay, I'm going to say the same to you all. Thank you again. Have a wonderful week. And until next time, be well. Bye.